Hello.
That morning, I was caught up tending to my orchids in the conservatory. Blissfully unaware of what was about to unfold, I gently poked through the soil, checking the roots of the bulbs I'd recently planted. Like always, the day rolled along in its usual calm, predictable way until a sharp pain shot through my back. Right then, my second nephew, Lucas, showed up out of the blue, leaving me wondering what might happen next. The greenhouse was my safe haven, my little retreat, especially since Gabriel left our home. It had become the one place that could truly lift my spirits. But that day, everything seemed to carry a different vibe. Even at 62, I often got comments from folks. "Sophia, how do you stay so healthy at your age?" they'd ask. Truth is, there's no big mystery. I just focus on taking care of myself, keeping that spark of energy alive, staying active, and eating right. Still, I've got to admit, a deep sense of loneliness has settled into my bones. Sure, my looks still turn heads, but there's an emptiness inside me that just won't budge. As I reached to plant another bulb, a sudden, fierce backache hit me hard. The pain was so sharp and unexpected that everything in my hands slipped to the ground. Trying to ease the discomfort, I shut my eyes for a moment, hoping to find some calm. But it didn't work. The agony spread from my shoulder down to my lower back, leaving me frozen, unable to move. Out of nowhere, I heard Lucas's voice calling to me. "Sophia, you okay?" My 26-year-old nephew, Lucas, has a face that could grace a magazine cover, with a strong build and broad shoulders. His piercing eyes looked at me with worry, his brown hair catching the sunlight. He's got this natural charm that draws everyone in, even if he doesn't seem to notice it himself. In that moment, all his youthful energy was focused on helping me out. My back was screaming in pain, right at the worst spot. "Something's wrong," I managed to say. "I can't keep going." "Are you ready for what's coming?" This story's a rare one, full of blurred lines and tangled emotions, with confessions lingering like soft whispers. Sometimes, something inside you shifts, making you question everything you thought you knew. If this is your story assignment, I'd love for you to follow my journey and turn on notifications to show some support. Lucas sat down beside me, leaning in close, and said he wanted to help. When his large hands touched my shoulders, a sudden shiver ran through my whole body. He offered to give me a massage, saying it usually helps. He admitted he couldn't just stand by when I was struggling. He was determined to find any way to ease my pain. But the way his words hit me caught me completely off guard. Lucas rested his hands on my back and started pressing gently. I've got to be honest, I hadn't felt a connection like that in ages. His strong fingers, surprisingly gentle, worked through my tense muscles. Slowly, the pain began to fade, replaced by a warm, unfamiliar feeling spreading through me. The loneliness buried deep inside me suddenly stirred, like it had been asleep for years. I let out a breath, maybe a little heavier than I meant to. I tried to say Lucas, but the words got stuck in my throat, refusing to come out. He stayed quiet and kept massaging. The way his hands moved across my back made me hyper-aware of every touch. In that moment, I felt a shift inside me, sparking a mix of excitement and unease in a way I hadn't expected. Lucas kept working on my back with steady, determined hands until he suddenly stopped and leaned down to meet my eyes. "Sophia, this is serious," he said, his voice heavy with concern. "We can't fix this in the greenhouse. Let's go by the fireplace to use the warmth, and I'll grab some cream to soothe your back. We've got to take care of this." I hesitated for a second, but the excruciating pain made the decision for me. With my head lowered, Lucas helped me get up. As he held me firmly, he warned me to go slow. The way he supported me felt strangely comforting, a closeness I hadn't felt in forever. When we stepped inside, the golden glow of the fireplace wrapped around the room. The warmth instantly eased some of the tension in my body. Lucas quickly spread a blanket on the floor and motioned for me to lie down. He stressed how important it was to let my back relax in a comfier spot. His face was serious, but his eyes held a flicker of uncertainty. "A little cream should help relax those tight muscles, Valentina," he said. As I lay there, watching the fire's heat sink into my body, Lucas warmed the cream between his hands. When his hands touched my shoulders again, I let out a sigh I didn't even realize I was holding. He spoke softly, promising I'd feel better soon and to just relax. Every touch not only eased my physical pain but stirred something deeper inside me. It woke up a part of me I thought had been buried for good. As his fingers moved across my back, my thoughts grew sharper, more restless. Lucas's touch didn't just heal, it sparked a kind of awakening in me. For a moment, a flicker of unease washed over me. But the pain in my back was so fierce, it was more than I could handle. So, of course, I nodded right away, agreeing to Lucas's help. He gently took my arm, steadying me as I got to my feet. I could hear his voice, soft but firm, urging me to take it slow as I moved forward. His strong hands, almost wrapping around me, gave me this odd sense of being shielded. The care he showed made me feel a bond with this young man, something I hadn't felt in ages. Stepping into the house, the warm, orange glow of the fireplace lit up the room, creating a cozy, welcoming vibe. The crackle of the flames and the heat filling the space brought a brief wave of calm over me. Lucas quickly spread a blanket on the floor and told me to lie down. He said I needed to find a comfier position to ease my spine, his face serious but softened by moments of gentleness. I brought some salve to help loosen up those tight muscles, he added. As Lucas warmed the cream in his hands, rubbing it between his palms, I felt the fire's heat wrap around me while I settled onto the blanket. When he placed his hands on my shoulders, my breath quickened in a way I couldn't control, catching me by surprise. "Relax," he whispered softly. "You'll feel better soon." But every touch brought a shift inside me. His hands didn't just ease my physical pain, they stirred feelings I'd buried deep for years. As his fingertips gently worked my back, my thoughts felt both soothed and tangled up. Lucas moved with a steady, deliberate touch, diving deep into both my muscles and something emotional within me. "Your muscles are so tight, Sophia, it's no wonder you're hurting," he said, his voice warm in a way that pulled me in instantly. "You're taking on too much with the house and those greenhouse plants," he went on. "You've got to look after yourself too." I wanted him to understand. "Lucas, the conservatory's my safe place," I said. Before I could finish, he cut in gently, his hands pausing with kindness. "I get it, but I'm worried about you too." His words hit me, and I wasn't sure I fully grasped what he meant. Or maybe I did, but I wasn't ready to admit it. Right then, he kept massaging, his hands gliding gently down my back. The warmth of his touch loosened the knots in my muscles, even as a different kind of knot tightened inside me. His closeness brought a mix of peace and unease that I couldn't shake. My voice shook as I spoke. "Lucas, you're really helping me out here." "I know," he replied, his tone slower, more careful. "Everything's going to be okay, Sophia. Just stay calm." His words felt like they carried more weight than simple reassurance. With every moment, his presence grew stronger, like the flames flickering nearby. Lucas's hands moved carefully toward my lower back. As he eased each muscle with his gentle strokes, a strange nervousness started creeping in. The heat sank deeper, steady but intense. My mind was a jumble, caught in a tug-of-war of confusion. I told myself to stay calm, but it was tough. My heart started racing as his warm hand slid up toward my shoulders. Lucas was close, too close, and yet, time itself seemed to blur. Suddenly, a voice screamed inside me. "Sophia, this is your second nephew. You can't go there." The room glowed with the soft, warm light of the fireplace, but the heat was starting to feel overwhelming. My eyes couldn't help but drift to Lucas as he wiped sweat from his forehead. When his shirt lifted slightly, I caught a glimpse of his suntanned, muscular chest, gleaming in the firelight like some kind of carved statue. I can't quite put into words how I felt in that moment. It had been so long since I'd felt such a deep connection with anyone. As he tugged his shirt down, he mentioned the fire was getting too hot. He seemed relaxed, but the intensity in his eyes pinned me in place. Our gazes locked for a split second. "Sophia, you're getting overheated too," he said, his voice soft but firm. that shirt's not helping. Let me help you with it. I couldn't find words to describe the storm of feelings inside me. My thoughts felt trapped, unable to break free. Part of me wanted to push back, but the heavy air in the room and the heat pressing against my skin were too much. I steadied myself. Lucas leaned in close, his fingers searching for the hem of my shirt. When his warm hands brushed my skin, a shiver ran through me, not cold, but like a spark of warmth. He carefully lifted my shirt, easing it off with gentle precision before setting it aside. In that moment, the air between us grew heavier, charged with something unspoken. His eyes lingered on me for a second before he quickly looked away. But I didn't need to see his face to feel the emotional weight of that moment. "Sophia," he said, his voice softer, deeper than before. "How are you holding up?" he asked. I managed a shaky "I'm okay," but my voice betrayed the chaos swirling inside me. Lucas's presence wrapped around me, not just because of the heat, pulling me into a sense of comfort I couldn't ignore. "Come closer," he said, reaching out his hand. I proposed we take a break and relax on the couch, noticing how uncomfortable you seemed in this place. My hand reached for yours, and a powerful spark, one I hadn't felt in ages, surged through me. The moment our fingers touched, his sturdy arms wrapped around me, steadying me as I stood, his natural instinct to protect me shining through. Lucas's quiet strength felt so genuine and effortless that, for a little while, my worries started to melt away. He gently helped me settle onto the couch, taking care to ease me down. He sat beside me, close but leaving just enough room to keep things comfortable. Still, the air around us buzzed with tension. There was something unspoken between us, so tangled and deep it felt impossible to put into words. I tried to stay calm under the weight of his intense stare, wrestling with the nervous flutter in my chest. But that night, it was clear we couldn't ignore the strength of our feelings any longer. The quiet between us grew heavier, broken only by the soft crackling of the fire in the room. My heartbeat pounded so loudly I swore it echoed in my chest. Just having Lucas near me, even the way he breathed, stirred something deep inside me. Being so close to him left me feeling both nervous and strangely at peace all at once. That's how it was with him. I glanced his way for a moment, and our eyes locked briefly. In his face, I saw something, maybe genuine care or something more mysterious. His gaze, calm yet full of energy, was impossible to ignore. In that closeness, it felt like time just stopped right there. Lucas slowly reached out toward me. A shiver ran through me as his fingers brushed mine. Even without words, the silence carried so much meaning. His eyes lingered on my lips for a moment, and in that instant, everything shifted. He started to lean closer, his warm breath grazing my skin. As he drew near, the noise in my head went quiet. Right or wrong didn't matter anymore. All I could see was Lucas's gaze, all I could feel was him being so close. I closed my eyes and leaned in just a little. When our lips met, it was like time froze altogether. At first, the kiss was soft, almost cautious, like we were testing the waters. But it quickly grew deeper, more powerful, pulling me in. His warmth, his breath, the feel of his lips, it was like I'd slipped out of reality for a moment. All the fear, loneliness, and longing I'd been carrying seemed to tangle up with his in that kiss. It wasn't just a kiss, it was years of bottled-up feelings, unspoken words, and maybe even a hidden bond pouring out. His hands gently cupped my face as the kiss deepened, drawing us closer. My hands instinctively found his shoulders, feeling the warmth of his skin through my fingers. We pulled back at the same time, both of us catching our breath, our eyes meeting. The connection between us felt stronger than ever before. I knew something needed saying, but the words eluded me, hovering just out of reach. One thing was certain, though, that night had changed everything between us, and we'd never go back to how things were. My breath came in short gasps, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it might leap right out of my chest. When I looked into Lucas's eyes, I saw a spark of longing tangled with questions he hadn't voiced. In that hushed moment, my swirling thoughts quieted, and my heart took the reins. "Is this real?" I murmured, my voice shaky with the weight of my feelings. "I know exactly what I'm feeling deep down." Lucas, I want you with all that I am. I love you. The words poured out like a floodgate bursting, sweeping away years of loneliness and fear in one powerful rush. Nothing else in the world mattered except being there, right next to him. For a split second, Lucas looked stunned, but then a slow, warm smile spread across his face, brightening the room like a sunrise. His gaze glowed with a comforting warmth that seemed to wrap me up like a cozy blanket. Sophia, I love you too, he said, his voice soft but steady, filled with a quiet strength that grounded me. I've been trying to keep my emotions in check, but I can't fight it anymore. I love you, and I want to be with you, always. His words sank deep into my heart, each one landing like a gentle ripple on a still lake. Lucas reached out, his hands tenderly cradling my face, and we kissed again, this time with a certainty that left no room for doubt. Our lips met, and our feelings spoke louder than any words ever could, weaving us closer together. That moment felt like a turning point, a spark that lit up my entire world. I didn't want this feeling, Lucas's love, his touch, his steady presence, to ever slip away. Despite the quiet fears still tugging at the edges of my mind, nothing could hold back the tide of my emotions. We were tangled together under a soft sheet, breathless, our connection pulsing like a living thing. Lucas sat beside me, his face softened by a gentle smile that made my heart skip. Looking around, I saw our clothes strewn across the floor, a quiet sign of how carried away we'd been. The night felt like a dream I never wanted to wake from, too perfect to be real. Lucas's warm, magnetic smile held my gaze as he looked at me, his hand brushing my cheek, his thumb tracing my lips with a tenderness that sent shivers down my spine. Sophia, he said softly, his voice low and warm, this moment means everything to me. I wouldn't trade it for anything. A wave of gratitude washed over me, and I turned to him, my voice thick with emotion. Lucas, you've made me feel so alive. I haven't felt this close to anyone in forever. Your warmth, your strength, it's got me completely caught up in you. He leaned closer, his breath grazing my skin, and his smile deepened. You have no idea what you do to me, Sophia, he said, his tone full of sincerity. It's not just your beauty, it's your heart, the way you're so open and real. You make every moment better just by being you. His words wrapped around me, making it impossible to look away from his steady gaze. I wanted to hold on to this night, to etch every second of it into my memory. Lucas, I said, my voice steady despite the emotion swirling inside, you've become my safe place. All I want is to keep you close, to hold on to this forever. His fingers brushed the edge of the sheet, and a soft smile played on his lips. I'm not going anywhere, Sophia, he said with quiet conviction. I'll be right here, as long as you'll have me. You can lean on me, always. His words felt like a promise, one I wanted to believe with every fiber of my being. That moment felt like a door opening to a new path in my life. The heavy weight of loneliness I'd carried for so long was lifting, replaced by a warmth I hadn't known I could feel. Lucas's presence beside me was like a steady anchor, making me feel safe and whole. I closed my eyes, took a slow breath, and leaned into his embrace, letting myself sink deeper into the comfort of his closeness. That night was the start of something new, a journey I hadn't seen coming but was ready to embrace. As we sat there, wrapped in the soft glow of the firelight, I felt a spark of hope ignite inside me. Lucas, I said, my voice soft but sure, I don't know what's ahead, but I want to face it with you by my side. He looked at me, his eyes full of quiet determination. We'll take it on together, Sophia, he said, his hand finding mine and giving it a gentle squeeze. Whatever comes, I'm right here with you. The fire crackled softly in the background, casting a warm light over us as we sat close, our hands still entwined. For the first time in years, the future didn't scare me. With Lucas beside me, I felt ready for whatever lay ahead. We stayed there, talking about everything and nothing, dreams we'd kept hidden, little moments that made us laugh, hopes we hadn't dared to speak aloud before. His laughter was like a melody, filling the empty spaces in my heart I'd thought would stay hollow forever. Every so often, he'd reach out, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear or letting his fingers linger on mine, each touch a quiet promise of more moments like this. The hours slipped by, but time didn't matter. It was just us, caught in the magic of the night. As the firelight danced across his face, I couldn't help but smile. "Lucas," I said, my voice barely above a whisper, "this feels like the start of something I've been waiting for my whole life." He smiled back, that heart-melting grin that made my chest ache, and pulled me closer. "Sophia," he murmured, "this is just the beginning. I can't wait to see where this takes us." The night stretched on, and the world outside seemed to fade away. I wasn't the same woman I'd been before, scared, weighed down by doubt. With Lucas, I was rediscovering parts of myself I'd lost along the way, parts that were brave, hopeful, and open to love. The uncertainties of the world didn't feel so heavy anymore, not with him holding my hand. As we sat there, wrapped in the warmth of the moment, I let myself dream a little bigger. Maybe we'd build a life together, filled with quiet nights like this and adventures we hadn't yet imagined. "Lucas," I said, turning to him with a shy smile, "do you think we could have more nights like this? Just you and me, like this?" His eyes softened, and he leaned in, his forehead resting gently against mine. "Sophia, I want a lifetime of nights like this," he said, his voice steady and full of feeling. "You and me, building something real, something lasting. What do you say?" My heart swelled, and I nodded, my voice catching in my throat. "I say yes," I whispered, my smile growing. "Yes to you, to us, to whatever comes next." We kissed again, soft and sure, and I knew, deep down, that this was the start of something beautiful, a love I hadn't dared to hope for, but one I was ready to hold on to with everything I had. His words sank deep into my soul, each one landing like a soothing wave against my heart. Lucas gently cupped my face, and we kissed again, this time with no trace of doubt. We both knew exactly what we wanted. As our lips met, our emotions spoke louder than any words could, binding us together. That moment shifted everything in my world. Lucas's love, his touch, his very presence, I didn't want any of it to fade. Despite the fears lingering in the back of my mind, nothing could stop the tide of my feelings. I was completely caught up in the moment. We lay tangled together under a thin sheet, breathless, our connection electric. Lucas sat close beside me, his face softened by a tender smile. Glancing up, I noticed our clothes scattered across the floor, a quiet reminder of how swept away we'd been. The night felt like something out of a dream, too perfect to be real, and I wasn't ready to wake up. Lucas's warm, captivating smile held my gaze as he looked at me. His hand grazed my cheek, his thumb gently brushing across my lips, sending a shiver through me. "Sophia," he murmured, his voice low and warm, "this moment, it's everything to me. I wouldn't trade it for the world." My heart swelled with a mix of emotions, and I turned to him, my voice thick with gratitude. "Lucas, thank you. I haven't felt this alive, this connected, in so long. Your warmth, your strength, the way you make me feel, it's got me completely under your spell." His smile deepened, and he leaned closer, his breath soft against my skin. "Sophia, you don't know what you do to me," he said, his tone earnest and full of feeling. "It's not just how beautiful you are, it's your heart, your honesty, the way you light up a room just by being you." His words made my chest tighten with warmth, and I couldn't look away from him. Every glance, every word, felt like it was carving this night into my memory forever. "Lucas," I said softly, my voice steady despite the emotion swirling inside, "you've become my anchor. All I want is to keep you close, to hold on to this feeling." His fingers traced the edge of the sheet, and a gentle smile curved his lips. "Sophia, I'm not going anywhere," he said with quiet conviction. "I'll be right here, as often as you'll have me. You can lean on me, always. I'm in this for you, for us." In that moment, it felt like a new road was stretching out before me, bright with possibility. The weight of loneliness and the burdens I'd carried for years were fading, replaced by a sense of hope I hadn't known I could feel. Lucas's presence beside me was like a steady hand, grounding me, making me feel safe in a way I hadn't in forever. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and leaned into his warm embrace, letting myself sink into the comfort of his closeness. That night marked the beginning of something new, a journey I hadn't expected but was ready to embrace. As we sat there, wrapped in the quiet glow of the moment, I felt a spark of courage I hadn't known I had. "Lucas," I said, my voice soft but sure, "I don't know what's coming next, but I know I want to face it with you." He looked at me, his eyes steady and full of promise. "We'll figure it out together, Sophia," he said, his hand finding mine and giving it a gentle squeeze. "No matter what comes, I'm with you." The fire in the room crackled softly, casting a warm light over us as we sat there, side by side. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't afraid of what the future might hold. With Lucas beside me, I felt ready to take on whatever lay ahead. His hand stayed in mine, and as I looked at him, I knew this was only the start of something deeper, something real. The night stretched on, and we talked, about little things, big things, dreams we had. "Sophia," he said in that deep, gentle voice, "I wouldn't trade this moment for anything." A rush of emotion swirled inside me, and I turned to him, my voice full of gratitude. "Lucas, thank you. I haven't felt this alive in so long. Your warmth, your strength, your charm, it's got me completely hooked." My eyes didn't quite show the honesty I felt, but Lucas's familiar, heart-melting smile lit up his face, one corner of his mouth lifting in that charming way of his. "Sophia, you know how beautiful you are," he said, calling me by name with that warmth in his voice. "And I don't just mean how you look. Being around you feels so special, your kindness, your realness, it's all one of a kind." Everything about him, his words, his gaze, the way he looked at me, made me feel better about myself, like I was truly seen. I couldn't pull my eyes away from his, couldn't escape the pull of his expression. That night felt so powerful, I wanted to hold on to every second of it forever. "Lucas," I said, my voice raw with truth, "I've been leaning on you. There's nothing I want more than to have you right here with me." As Lucas's fingers brushed along the edge of the sheet, a soft smile spread across his face. "Sophia, I'm gonna keep coming back to you," he said, his voice steady and full of sincerity. "You can count on me, always. I'm here for these moments, just thinking about you and what we have." Right then, it felt like a new chapter was opening up in my life. The deep loneliness and heavy weight I'd carried for so long were starting to lift, bit by bit. Having Lucas by my side gave me a sense of safety and calm that wrapped around me like a warm blanket. I decided to close my eyes, take a slow, deep breath, and lean a little closer into his comforting embrace. That night was the start of something new for me, a journey I was ready to take.
Bye-bye.